series is tied piece, and Jaylen Brown and the Celtics looking to bounce back after a Game 2 loss at home, and will look to do so for the first time in Philadelphia, the environment. Jason Tatum making his way into the arena, and we're going to get you ready for Game 3 because it's going to be a good one here. Welcome, everyone, to Celtics Pregame Live. We got the crew. Chris Forsberg, we got Scal, we got Eddie, we got Tom Giles. Abby is there in Philadelphia as well. So I'm pumped. I'm ready for Game 3. Series tied at 1. Go. Go.
Okay. What do you think Maxey was watching on his phone?
I don't know, man. Why don't you just tell me what you think?
Maybe what he did in Game 2.
I don't know. Probably watching highlights of himself, trying to gas himself up. I don't know.
Yeah.
Thought you'd have a good answer.
He's always watching film.
Really?
Always. Everyone says Maxey loves watching, whether it's himself, other people in the league. Maxey's a big film guy, which is important, and it's going to lead to when Kayla asked me how am I feeling about this. I have to have faith in our team with their experience, and I have to have faith in Joe that they're going to do the right things and they're going to make the right adjustments. And I hate that word because sometimes it's just about playing harder. But there are some things that team did. The Philadelphia 76ers, Tyrese Maxey, once he got hot, VJ Edgecombe, once he got hot. And you just can't keep assuming that it's going to work itself out. Sometimes you just got to play a little bit harder, but you got to make small adjustments on the ball. We didn't make them in Game 2. They got going, and we paid the price because once we cut the lead, the same coverage that we did in the first quarter that beat us, it's the same coverage that killed us when Maxey hit those back-to-back threes. So I'm hoping that our team makes the right adjustments.
Celtics players were probably not walking in with their phones watching those highlights because it was pretty gruesome. And as much as I agree with you, I think there was stuff that just, like on the surface, they can clean up. Turnovers, offensive rebounds, some of the basic stuff. I know it's tied to what you'll get into later in the program, but I just feel like if they avoid some of the mistakes that they were sort of self-inflicted, it can shore up a lot of what ailed them the other night. And we know what this happens, right? When bad offense bleeds into bad defense with this team, I do suspect they will be sharper and more razor-focused tonight.
It doesn't help when the 76ers make 19 threes compared to their 4 in Game 1. But like you guys said, there's a lot of nitty-gritty things that they can clean up as you take a look at the series thus far. We saw Game 1, a 32-point win, complete opposite come Game 2. Celtics taking the L, 111-97 the final. So guess what? One of these two teams is going to have the 2-1 series lead, and it's going to start here tonight. So let's send it back out to Philadelphia, where Abby Chin is standing by. Abby, how are the Celtics feeling going into them? Can you read their faces and feel the mojo here tonight?
Hi, Kayla. I don't know if I am a big body language expert. Just coming out of the locker room, there was a quiet confidence, is how I would describe it here inside the Xfinity Mobile Center, no longer Wells Fargo Arena. This is the Xfinity Mobile Center now. It was a beautiful day in Philadelphia, warm, sunny, so I think the Celtics can kind of wash away those bad feelings from Game 2 and bring it into Game 3 because history tells us this is an important game in a 7-game series. Historically, the winner of Game 3 goes on to win a 7-game series nearly 74% of the time. So the Celtics will need to get to that level of urgency, reach that next level that maybe they fell a little bit short of in Game 2 here tonight. If anything, maybe the hostile road crowd could bring that out of them. This morning, Derek White was asked about what it's like, maybe Philadelphia, one of the most hostile crowds in the NBA, particularly for the Celtics. And Derek likes that kind of stuff. Take a listen.
It's fun. I mean, even like walking to the bus today, the construction workers were yelling at us, and so I mean, you know what to get here, and we've played a lot of big games in this arena, so we know what to expect, and it's definitely a fun atmosphere.
What were they saying?
They're like, Derek White's not right tonight, or something like that. I think that's what I got. I think that's what I got tonight. But yeah.
Do you like that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's fun. This is what you want to play for, and especially in the playoffs, like this is kind of what you look forward to, and you expect to have these atmospheres, and you got to go out there and compete, and it's going to be just us together on the team here, and so that's kind of the fun part about it.
There's no question this is a group that loves that road environment and has done really well in those situations. Derek White just took the floor here behind me. He is your 2026 NBA Sportsmanship of the Year award winner and voted on by his peers. We talked to him about that this morning as well. Derek told us that it's pretty nice. Feels like he's doing a good job. He'll continue to do that, but talking to his teammates, the thing that is the most prominent when it comes to Derek is that he's just a good human, and that's what he's authentically good, and that's what people love about him, and I think that's also what makes him a very good basketball player, because that competitive spirit is authentically within him. One big note, and I use the word big for a reason, Joel Embiid remains out here in Game 3. Sixers listed him as doubtful, and there was some thought that possibly he could come back to play in this game, just a little over 2 weeks removed from emergency appendectomy surgery. But their head coach, Nick Nurse, telling us while Joel has been able to get on the court, he's actually had some pretty intense games, he said, involving both coaches and players from the Sixers. He's just not ready to go yet here tonight. So we'll see what that means for Sunday. But as of this game, in Game 3, there is no Joel Embiid. I think Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe took care of business. In Game 2, we'll see what they have here in Game 3. We're just getting started here, though. I'm just getting started in Philly. Cedric Maxwell is standing by. He's going to join me. He's had some pretty hostile moments here in Philadelphia in the past. I also went one-on-one with Jordan Walsh this morning, talked about that drip he wore into Game 2, and I go one-on-one with Joe Mazzulla to find out what the keys are to this game here in Game 3. So, Kayla, I'll see you in just a little bit.
Yeah, Abby, you're going to be on a...
You get a shot, and you gotta take it, and honestly, I just think I gotta play better, and so that's just all I'm focused on for Game 3. And you gotta have that confidence that the next one's gonna go in, and gotta have that belief. And I think if you get a good look, if it's an open look, you're hurting the team if you don't take it. And so if you're out there, when you get a good look, you gotta take it and knock it down.
I think your back's against the wall, and you need a W, and you just find a way and do whatever it takes. Shots going in, shots not going in, you gotta get stops, stuff like that. So we've been here before, been tested, so we're ready for tonight.
All right, Scott, when you listen to these two guys and talking about their recent struggles, like what is it for you that they have to get going? What's the number one thing if you could pinpoint it?
I mean, for me, it's the star players have to continue to make people better. You have to drive, you have to kick it, they have to go extra pass. It can't be like grenades late in the clock. It can't be after I drive, pump fake, step through, kick it. I mean, those guys, and those guys got to play better too. Like, they got to find ways to get themselves going. And it's not just White and Pritchard, even though I thought that those guys weren't very good. It's everybody on the roster. It's the playoffs, and you got to capitalize on it. There were times when Philly was putting 4 guys on one side of the court loading up to Brown and Tatum. At that point, the ball has to move, and it has to hit those guys, not just at the end or at the end of the clock. It has to hit those guys throughout, so Philly would change their defense.
The only number that jumped off the page and kind of surprised me was the fact that Peyton and Derek, Peyton especially was one of the top drivers on the Celtics this year, relentlessly attacking the basket. I think they only combined for something like 7 drives in Game 2. And it's such an extraordinary low number for them. It shows that, again, regardless of when they're catching it, they've got to put more pressure on that defense, if nothing else than to loosen it up on the Jays as well. And so I just want to see them be more aggressive, find ways to get activated if the shots aren't falling, get back to, again, finding unique ways to score even when the three-pointer isn't dropping.
I think what we really are missing is everybody. We're talking about the offense, but it really was our defense. We weren't getting stops when we needed to get stops. You got to think at that point when we cut it to 291 to 89, Jason Tatum misses the 3. Okay, he missed the 3. Tyrese Maxey comes down. We're still in that same defense we've been in all season, not all season long, but all game long. He hits a 3, comes down, hits another 3. Then we give up offensive rebound to Drummond. Then we give up another 3 in the corner. So to me, it comes down to defense. It comes down to defensive effort. It comes down to when we are playing our best defensive basketball, it seems like shots start to fall all of a sudden. It seems like the right plays are being. We get out in transition and get easier buckets. Everything is not contested. Everything is not a force. And you don't have those grenades that, Scal, you're talking about, because we are getting into our offense a little faster than what we were. I thought we walked the ball up a little bit too much offensively in Game 2. We walked it up. You looked up at the clock. You're like, oh, first action, 14 seconds left on the shot clock. That's just not going to get it done. That's how you end up with a grenade getting thrown in your lap. And you either make it or you miss it. And what kind of rhythm do you have at that point? So I think our defense is really what has to turn up in game 3. And we're going to have to change that coverage, that drop coverage. I'm just not a huge fan of it. Yeah, we can run it here and there, but we can't be running it, constantly against an Edgecombe and especially against a Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah, and I know, Scal, you're going to dive into all of that in the later blocks to come because that drop coverage could be an issue, something that they may have to fix come here in Game 3. But I want to take a look at the last 5 Game 3s against Philly, dating all the way back to 85. Dub, won in overtime back in 2018. Wins all across the board, by the way, all games on the road. And one guy who